Now, in many states in the US this November, the presidential candidate who snags the winner's share of electoral votes is unlikely to be a surprise. Across 7 swing states, stretching from the desert southwest to the upper Midwest and back down into the south, the outcome remains very much in play, and the 93 votes up for grabs are likely to decide who ultimately ends up in the White House come January. That's the case even after a historic reset of the race. But in case you need clarity, a swing state, according to a by-the-book definition, is one that's considered to play a key role in the outcome of presidential elections, and where candidates of both the Democratic and Republican parties have similar levels of support. If you want to know where both sides think the 2024 election is going to be won or lost, look at where they're aiming their campaign planes and, perhaps more importantly, their checkbooks. The Democrats gained the presidency in 2020 with the support of the Grand Canyon state, which narrowly voted to back their party's candidate for the first time since the 1990s. Arizona now borders Mexico, as you know, for hundreds of miles and has become a focal point of the nation's immigration debate. Border crossings have fallen in recent months, though, from records high, which have made the issue near the top of voters' concerns. Trump has repeatedly attacked Kamala Harris's record on immigration, though, because she was given a role by Joe Biden in trying to ease the border crisis. He has also vowed to carry out the largest deportation operation in US history if he regains the presidency. Arizona, by the way, also hosted a bitter row over abortion access after state Republicans attempted to reinstate a 160-year-old near-total ban on terminating pregnancies, but were foiled. But the issue has become an explosive one nationwide in the US since 2022, when the US Supreme Court overturned a landmark ruling that gave women the constitutional right to abortion. In Georgia, alleged election interference has landed Trump in one of his 4 criminal prosecutions. As you know, Trump has been convicted in one case while the remaining are ongoing, but he and 18 others are accused of conspiring to overturn his narrow defeat to Biden in the state. But Trump, in classic Trump style, denies any wrongdoing, and the case looks increasingly unlikely to be heard in court before the November election. But you must note that 1/3 of Georgia's population is African American, one of the country's largest proportions of black residents, and it is believed that this demographic was instrumental in Biden flipping the state in 2020. Now, some disillusionment with Mr. Biden had been reported among America's black voters, but the Harris campaign hopes to animate this constituency. On to Michigan, a state that's been a major player in the last 2 presidential elections. Despite supporting Biden in 2020, Michigan has become a focal point in the debate over US support for Israel amid the ongoing war in Gaza. In Michigan's Democratic primary this past February, over 1 lakh voters chose the uncommitted option, reflecting a push by activists who want the US to stop its military aid to Israel. Now, this is especially significant because Michigan has the largest Arab American population in the country, and their support for Biden has been wavering. Kamala Harris has taken a firmer stand on Israel, and some Gaza protesters are a little hopeful she might be more sympathetic to their cause. Meanwhile, Trump has spotlighted Michigan in his election strategy. On to the silver state that has voted Democrat for the last several elections, but there are signs of a possible turnaround by the Republicans. Recent averages published by poll tracking firm 538 indicate that polls once showed Trump enjoying a wide lead over Joe Biden, but that advantage has shrunk since Kamala Harris became the top of the ticket. Democrats had hoped a candidate with greater appeal to younger and more diverse voters would close the gap, but both candidates are vying to win the state's sizable Latino population. Despite the fact that the US economy has shown strong growth and jobs creation since Biden took the presidency, the post-COVID recovery has been slower in Nevada than anywhere else. In fact, at 5.1%, the state has the highest unemployment rate in the US after California and the District of Columbia, according to the latest US government statistics. Turning to North Carolina, where the political landscape is getting more competitive, some analysts are now calling it a toss-up, but this shift may explain why former President Trump chose North Carolina for his first outdoor rally since the assassination attempt on him in July. Addressing his supporters, Trump emphasized the importance of the state, saying this state is a very, very big state to win. On the Democratic side, the party spotlighted North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper on the final night of their convention, underscoring the state's significance. But you must note that North Carolina shares some key electoral concerns with neighboring Georgia and Arizona, other critical Sun Belt states. And Trump, by the way, won North Carolina by just over 70,000 votes back in 2020, fueling Democratic hopes that this purple state, which can swing either way, might be up for grabs this election year. Next up, let's talk about Pennsylvania, where both parties campaigning with great gusto at the moment. This state became a key battleground in the 2020 election, swinging to support Joe Biden, who has a personal connection to the working class city of Scranton, where he grew up. Inflation is a top concern here, as it is across the United States, but prices spiked under the Biden administration. They though have come down since, but in Pennsylvania, grocery prices have surged faster than any other state. In fact, in certain areas, many residents are grappling with food insecurity there. Let's turn to Wisconsin now, a state that has been crucial in recent presidential elections, picking the winner in both 2016 and 2020 by just over 20,000 votes each time. In battlegrounds like Wisconsin, third-party candidates can have a big impact.